Welcome to February, everyone. February the 1st, 2023.
Yes, and it's the in bulk.
I know. That's lovely. And you're here at the side of the tabletop conversation for
Yes.
February Long Spoon.
We've just sitting around after dinner.
Yes, you've just caught us after dinner.
Yeah, so we're having a little in bulk celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very Irish. Cheesecake.
very Irish.
And coffee.
Yes, and the first light of the new year.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very. So it's neat to be able to do the tabletop on such a special day.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Yeah.
And I love the altar you've made for us for the occasion. It's really nice. I love the.
It's so beautiful and very festive.
It is,
I love
and
it.
it's very
Very-
fairy.
Yeah, very
We have the-
characters and the.
Yeah, we have the beeswax
Mhm.
candle, which we use for special occasions.
And then you have.
The rosemary salt that we've
Mhm.
made, that you bless your house with, and we've had a really wonderful day. It's been a gorgeous day here today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this February spoon it talked about oracles,
Yeah.
and it's been it's kind of a big part of our life, not so much in oracles are wonderful, but making your life an oracle and becoming an oracle yourself and oracling to yourself, and that can come out of your cookbook, that can come out of your any book on your shelf that falls on your head and opens up.
That's right.
And
Had that happen before.
I know it, and you learn to see the oracles. A certain, you're out walking, and all at once a certain animal comes across your path, and that is an oracle to you. If it's a fox, that you become aware. At least we have, and I think all of our work is about that. Is that you have all the answers at your fingertips, and if you're willing to look and watch them. And I think when we first came together, we were just astounded because as we went deeper into the decks, and more things in our life we watched and were more aware of and oracled to us, and even to the point that we were up. We remember one time we were up in one of the upper rooms, and the kids. It was. Let's see how long ago that was. That's when Susanna was little.
Yeah.
It'd be Susanna and Daniel would come upstairs, or Joseph, and they would come up to see us. And it'd be all three of them, and they each have something in their arms, in their hands, and it was like a toy or an animal or something. And they would just come upstairs and stare at us, and we thought that was strange enough. And then they would just go back downstairs, and it was bizarre. Because they each had something significant, an answer and significant
To what
in
our
their
conversation
to our
was.
conversation.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it happened lots of different times once we started really listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens when you allow your life to oracle to you. And at first you might be overwhelmed a little bit about so many answers, but then you get used to the rhythm of it and the flow, and you become more that you do expect it, and so you look around so much it becomes your
There
saving
is an
grace.
expectancy. Yeah. I remember with all those kinds of signals that, that the whole thing was synchronicity, and people seeing the clocks that say 111 or 222 or 333, and you see that over and over again. And those synchronicities, and remember our friend who's since passed away, Ed Moffat, would say what he did to increase that was every time he saw something that was a synchronicity, he'd make note of it. He said the more you think about it, or the more you talk about it, or the more you write it down, the more it will happen.
Oh
And
my
that's really,
gosh.
and that's really just becoming aware, being present, and then, like you say, an expectancy.
And it's like
of it.
answers.
Yeah.
The answers that come to you, the more you oracle your life, and you ask for answers, and then you watch for them, and then it's like you're on your feet. You're not sitting somewhere looking at oracle cards or any kind of thing, it's, it can be as simple as something that falls down onto the floor and all of us you have to notice it, or someone represents something in your life and that's the answer to it. And I think that's a powerful gift that we can give ourselves.
Yeah.
And I know we all do it together and individually. I thought maybe y'all would like to talk about how you all work with it in your lives, or cling to yourself.
Well, I know sometimes I would be walking with the work I was doing. I would be walking to my car, and I would literally be. I mean, I couldn't have missed it, but I wasn't looking for it. But it found me. It was a turkey feather, and it was just right there. And then, as I was leaving, I would see a flock of turkeys cross my path, and it was like so specific, or like I would look up one day and see a bunch of hawks, but it was like really specific for me to see that.
Well, the thing for turkey is
really
that you can't be
totemic.
taken from.
Yeah, because
And
you've already
that
given.
goes through the ancient people. It's not just, lots of different ethnic people have messages about different animals, and turkey is that profoundly.
I love that. So I save the turkey feathers and I use them, in my everydayness, and it's just really cool to just see all the different turkey feathers I've found, and I still use them. And then this morning, in oracling to myself, I just opened to the meditation book that you made, and it was like talking about totemic presence.
Oh.
And it was just like, and I was thinking about all of that, and so it's just like, I couldn't have planned, you just don't plan on how all those things are connected, but I did some sage last night, and I was using the same turkey feather, and the sage was for Embulk, which, it was just like, how they're just all connected little things, so it's just, so.
And you find you're doing things in your life and it's all connected because you've lived that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's miraculous to have a life that connects itself up for you.
Yeah.
It's really true. Yeah, and we did we found a candle set that you could make out of beeswax sheets.
Oh, yeah.
And we bought the little wax things, and we made a candle, but I didn't know it was Embulk.
I didn't.
And so, but it was so weird because all of a sudden we got this thing. I didn't really look and see how you do it. We saw a video somewhere, but we just rolled it up like how we saw it, and we had it ready. And then we come downstairs, and then you all talk about how it's Embulk, and then here you talk about lighting a beeswax candle. And
Well, we got those several years ago.
isn't it so
remember?
cool?
We were concentrating on trying to get a beeswax.
Yeah.
So it's just like the timing. It's just really cool.
Yeah.
That is
So I felt
wonderful.
like that whole process was like oracling
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
And realizing different things that people will bring you or bring to your attention, or that suddenly show up on the screen on Facebook or Instagram, and it's nothing that but it triggers something that you realize is a thread that you're connecting. And I think it's just really fascinating. One of the ways I think we oracle to ourselves a lot too is just when we, like, of course, me always thinking about food, but how we menu plan, because we do a week in advance, and so we're already oracling to ourselves. When we feel through, we do a Kuan Yin to kind of set the energy and what the energy is going to be that we're assimilating for that week, and then we choose the different foods that are to be for each of those nights' menus. And I know, as we're preparing those meals each night, we're realizing that in the past we oracled to ourselves of what we would need for that day. Not only what would we need to go through the process of preparing it, what it would bring up for us, or what it would give us insights to, but just realizing how much we knew. There's always this registry of how the meal was just perfect for what we needed for that night, even when we wouldn't have realized whether it was the weather or how we were feeling emotionally, or just either the busyness of the day or the need for the swaddling and coziness of the day, or just needing something new and exciting, that we happen to put a new recipe in the menu. So it's all those ways that we oracle to ourselves as well.
And we
which is really cool.
intention too with the menu, that we want where we all come together. You know,
Yeah.
people have all their different cravings and different things in the mood for, but we have to find where it all comes together. And where it comes together is how we assimilate
Right.
our spiritual life and our
Sure.
spiritual understanding, and how we assimilate like a community and living and giving and loving people. But what we do is we ask for the menu to help us assimilate what we're working with
Yeah.
the coming week, or the information that we're working with to expand ourselves, because we actually eat food to assimilate who we are. So I
Wow.
love that we do come around with that.
The
That's really
oracles
cool.
are, and I think any form of oracling is to give yourself information, you know, and so assimilating that new information is always important, and how you do that. So
And
it
some
can be
foods
easy.
help, and some
Yeah.
especially more than others.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Uh-huh.
Trick, yeah.
And Sandra?
Well, as you were talking, I've never thought of this as oracling, but I'm fascinated with wood and sticks
Mm-hmm.
and moss on sticks. And the other day, once the snow had cleared away and I felt like I could get out, I found myself picking up all these little sticks, and it reminded me of the I Ching, but
The
Uh-huh.
Olgums?
uh,
Olgums?
the
The I Ching.
the
Yeah.
Ching,
Oh,
the yarrow
I Ching.
sticks.
Oh.
Yarrow sticks.
And I found myself playing with them.
You work through
I work
problems.
through. I really do. And
With
I,
sticks.
And just I really do. And I have my bedroom is full of mossy sticks and branches and stuff. But
My altar is too.
yeah, like your altar is, and it's. I guess it's whether come up with an answer, but sometimes I don't realize I'm looking for an answer.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, and then all of a sudden it appears. But I found doing that with my fingers was just was wonderful. Anything I can do with my fingers in a rhythmic, rolling.
Tactile.
Huh?
It's like tactile.
Yeah.
Anything
Sandra's the one that puts peanut butter on her bread,
Mm-hmm.
and then she has to pat it with her fingers.
Yeah,
And
she
with-
uses her finger as a spreader.
yeah,
the jelly.
yeah. But I think that's one thing we love about each other is Sandra and I both love sticks. I'm putting sticks in the different
Yeah. Oh, and in your
pieces of Robert,
your
and then
knitting bag that you brought down, I just love because it looks just like it just looks like a hedgehog. It looks like there's like
all these knitting
sticks coming,
needles.
Oh, how fun.
And I just
So
I just
cool.
love that look. I don't know what it is, but it just makes me happy to see it. So to me, that's oracling. And
Yeah.
it can make me-
I didn't think of that. It's like when the big tree fell, and there was this neat friend of Jeff's that came and helped bring it over, and he cut it up. And all at once, we picked them up, and we knew they were a gift from the tree. And we have a fence row, but we started sticking them in it. And I didn't think about it. It's kind of like doing an I Ching fence row.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Because they have just been, the
Only
birds
7 foot tall
love them.
branches we put
So,
in.
do you
whole
think
row.
of that?
That's really true.
Maybe one is, one I Ching, and the birds love that one. And then you have the Olgum, which is the tree oracle, and then the different trees. So as you stick the sticks in, even though it's not a hazel, it represents hazel.
Yeah.
And even
Oh
though it's
my
not
gosh.
ash, it represents.
Yeah, it's like
We
having a
have that.
whole grove
Yeah,
of trees
it is.
here.
Like we got
I
a new
mean,
branch,
it's
we got a
true.
new branch
Yes.
for this year.
Oh, I know it.
Oh, and then remember
Wait to
this
get in there and trim it up.
Yes, we will.
the set of
Use it in the
Ogham
garden.
sticks that we got from England
Yeah.
or Ireland. Where was it?
Oh,
We ordered that for our
Oh.
anniversary
Yeah, England,
Yeah,
last year.
and then
the year
each
before.
stick is the wood that it's
That is the
represents.
coolest
Yeah,
thing.
is
Yeah.
that one
Wood.
of them that's in the altar?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's what I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
when you were talking about the sticks. But yeah, I think that is the most
I
beautiful
think that
sign.
is the bird. It's not the bird.
Yeah, it is. It's one of your.
Yeah.
And it's not only the wood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is why it was so great. He went into got the wood out of sacred groves.
Yeah.
You know, sticks that had
Yeah.
whatever,
Wow.
branches that had fallen, but they're from all these sacred groves
Wow.
all over England.
Yeah.
That is
Isn't
awesome.
that
So that's
that
really
That
means
is
so much
incredible.
to
so
us?
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we really.
When I saw a bunch of stuff about Imbolc, it talked about the Olgums and how it's an Irish
Mm-hmm.
special thing about Imbolc, I guess, too, which I think
Well, we
that's
did
really
a
cool.
whole show. I don't know how many years ago. It was the Tree of Life show, and we did a whole thing about the Ogham, the language of the Ogham of the trees, and oh God, that show was
I
so
know.
rich.
That is
It's
so
delicious.
amazing.
I mean, they were whole worlds we created.
That's why I like the thing that you brought up. Maybe I'll try to get that on the long spoon. Could be the next picture. The one, the photos with the distance. You know, that glass globe that had the like the air bubbles inside it, and then we used it and called it the distance, and we photographed it. But I always associate that with trees. With the ones because you put them next to
because we
trees
did
or
it in the
woods.
woods.
tree in the woods and in the tree branches in the Y's of it, and you'd stick it there so it'd just stay, and then we'd photograph it. And
You know, that
that's
might be-
really
But
interesting.
when we actually did the Kuan Yin Oracle, and that was really like the Kuan Yin Oracle was the end result of what the distance was about. It's being able to bring the distance close and everything. And so when we got done with all that photography, then the next thing that came into our life is like wanting something, an oracle that was more 3D living, pulsing in your life, that in all at once we found this, woke up in the middle of the night and then just started writing it. And it had been like 3 weeks since we asked for that.
Yeah.
And then that came the Oracle of Compassion. And the next day, somebody had put the tabletop for it out on the road that they didn't want. We picked it up, immediately
round.
drew
That's
it
what we
because we
wanted.
had drawn it in the night. Then we drew it on watercolor, and then we painted it with a liquid acrylic. And that's like, what, 25 years ago.
Gosh.
And but the
It looks
thing
like you
is,
did it yesterday. I mean, it's still in such great.
it's so. But around the edge of it is the tree oracle,
Yeah.
the Ogham.
Yep.
Oh my
And I didn't
gosh.
quite know why, except that I love the Ogham. But see, that what Robert's saying is that came. We realized that it came from the time of reaching with the distance and going in the woods up in the Appalachian, up in the very beginning of the Appalachian Trail, and doing photography of us in the trees, and Susanna in the trees would become whole worlds of their own, but also just staying in that language of working with wood and the trees,
Yeah.
and then taking pictures of that globe in trees and in odd places, all with wood and all with trees. And then the other thing was with the sand and the birds. All that came together to become the embodiment of the Kuan Yin Oracle.
And that's something.
Wow. And you
Yeah,
all
all
did that
those
in
elements.
Georgia, and then you moved up
Yeah.
to the Pine Tree State.
The
The
other
other
end
end of the Appalachian
The other
Trail.
end.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
That is an awesome story. I'm glad you all shared that.
Well,
Follow.
we've just realized it in the last month. Actually, I was doing a collage, and they all came into one collage, and then it snapped. Then I said, "Oh my God!"
Wow.
So that's an oracle.
Yeah,
The
one.
oracle is an oracle.
Yeah, doing collages and oracle.
And you realize that the Appalachian Trail follows the spine of the mountains. So that's mountains are always sacred sites. So they're sacred to the indigenous people, and then it's like the spine of on the back of a dragon. So it's like a ley line, serpentine shape that goes from there up to Mount Katahdin.
And Kundalini can rise through the spine. Wow.
So it's all interconnected.
I think
So-
one of the coolest things that you said in the beginning of this conversation was about being expectant of it. There's like an openness and an availability, because anything can oracle to you, and all the things that different things that we've been talking about, and especially the power of in Gaia and in nature, the things that like the trees and stuff that can oracle to us. And I realized that that when you have an open heart and a curious, seeking mind, you approach the world of looking at like everything could oracle to you. And especially when you've got something that is in your mind and in your heart, that an issue that you're wanting to find resolvement or more insight to, you end up, if you were expectant, the world will present you with answers. And when you are curious and you expect an answer, you're going to be looking for it, because you're available and open to anything and everyone in your world to oracle to yourself, to give yourself information and insight into whatever it is that you're working with, and that you want either more expansion about, more insight to, or really even just a resolvement or a dissolvement of an issue or a problem that is weighing you down. And that has been a real true, a beautiful journey for me to experience in this life that we have as a community, and the different concepts that we've learned and worked with. And it's just that expectancy and that availability to know that you're going to get an answer, because you're looking for it. It's going to come to you. You're drawing it
and
to
you want
yourself.
more conversation.
Yeah, you want
And that
more
goes
conversation.
along with the invoke, because the invoke
Yes, it
is
does.
about expectancy
Yeah.
and the womb.
Yeah.
It's connected to the womb.
Exactly.
Yeah, the
Right.
expectant womb. So that's
I
just like
love
perfect.
that.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
So like invoke is the
Fertility.
point of your expectancy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
And I want to just bring in the second part that we have as a point of a conversation within the long spoon, is the perseverance, centering, and holding space.
Yes.
So I think that's what these different festive moments of remembrance are about within bulk. And it's a holding space, and it's persevered because people hand it down to each other. It's a lineage that's handed down from person to person and decade to decade.
So it's holding that concept of holding
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
And the
Oracular.
and
Yeah.
the embalk and the pregnant box.
Yeah, yeah.
And don't you think it requires so much perseverance this particular time of the year? Because when you realize that Imbolc is that middle, that halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, and it's such a deep in between space, and to hold yourself in a centered place and be present to what that in between passage holds.
Wow.
And it doesn't always feel good. Some
No.
of
Like
it's great, some of it's exciting, some of it's like, oh, I just want to hide under the covers.
Well, even the
And we
seeds.
can do all that.
Yes, and it's
And this
all
time of
part
year
of
we
the
can hide
in
under the
between.
covers.
And even the seeds in the ground are kind
Yeah.
of like,
I don't
okay,
know
I'm
if
not
I wanna
ready.
go
I'm
up
not ready
yet.
yet to sprout, so I'm gonna just be in this place of
Yeah.
holding. But I know it'll come soon. But it's like
So
we're
it's
kind
like
of.
that perseverance to stay
My first-
patient
And-
with that.
My first alarm went off, but I'm hitting the snooze button.
Exactly, that's exactly it.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just and we saw that wonderful that we had shared a poem about hiding
Yes.
and how
Oh, that was
important it is to
fabulous.
allow yourself
Oh,
to hide.
yes. Yeah.
And what
forgotten
hiding
about that.
does, what hiding actually heals, and what space is claimed when one allows oneself to hide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
I
glad
would
you
say
brought
this
that
is
up.
the
That
hiding
is-
time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, and you can see why seeds love to be in the dark and hide.
Some they cannot
know?
germinate.
Right. So
My
it's like
bears hibernate and all.
They're all different. I mean, some seeds have to be striated and they have to be frozen, and in other seeds they have to have full dark, and then some seeds need dark with they need to be closer up to the light. So there's a closer, how close to the light.
Mm-hmm.
And the bigger the seed is, usually the deeper it has to go.
Wow. Makes me think of what kind of seed am I?
Well,
You know,
it makes
it's like,
me think
it's like
how
am
deep
I-
we have had to go. There were pretty big seeds
Mm-hmm.
that I feel really tiny many times, but the amount of dark time I need and hiding time I need periodically to do this work, that kind of tells you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, you
about
came
it.
up with an awesome term, seedial alchemy. And that was
yeah.
something I opened to today. And it's like, I feel like that describes
That's
that
going to be a
so
wonderful
well.
oracle.
Oh,
You know,
God.
where it's like, there's
Wonderful
that,
oracle.
that is a perfect, it just
I
says it.
love
It
that.
just,
Thank
you know, it's like, it helps me better understand seedial alchemy just as we're talking. So I love that.
I love that too. I forgot about that. That is so good. And then Robert looks at me and says, that would be a great article.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Seed
I'm
Oh,
already
alchemy.
actually on the list
Oracle.
now.
Yeah, but that's on the list too. Yes.
It's so fun.
There's a one in desire for that. So
Yes, yes.
so February is really going to be a lovely month to still stay tucked in
Yeah, do some
and
more
nurture
hiding.
yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
Don't be
why
afraid
not?
Hide.
Sitting
Don't be afraid
with
to
yourself in the dark.
Read,
You're
listen
really
to
just
music,
growing.
read books, read The Long Spoon. Enjoy yourself with the
Yeah.
time of it.
And we're working pretty hard right now on
Mm-hmm.
creating a whole new way to present our work. and
Yeah,
work with it in
yeah.
the world.
We'll let you know more about
Yeah,
that.
we'll let you know more about that later.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, so we
behind
can get a little closer.
Yeah. Is there anything else you all want to say before we close?
No, well, I love seeing the rosemary. Thank you for, because she's the one thing that's been the hardest for us to keep through the
I
winter.
know she is so hard.
Mhm.
And she's just a beauty up there.
Wow, that's
Well,
really
they
I
amazing.
finally
amazing.
found a place for her
That's
where she
perfect.
survived the
And you-
No,
winter
the others,
inside.
That's
she
not an
was
easy thing to
many.
do.
Now she's just one.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And
she
it's
made
really
it.
hard
Wow.
to get
Till
those.
winter over.
Yeah.
Here
Yeah.
anyway.
But she's all about memory.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We were talking about memory.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Memory.
really true.
Yeah.
We had to put her all by herself because she doesn't do well with others.
She's
on the
in,
third
she's in
floor.
her own sandbox.
That's right. She's on
busy.
the third floor in the
With inside
in
the salt there.
actually the flower room
The flowers.
and
Mhm.
the dried flowers and the
Mhm.
things from the summer. But she's she doesn't do well with others. So over
Unless
the
they're
winter, she'll
unless
give
they're
everybody
already dry.
horrible
If
things.
they're already
Right,
dried
right,
out,
yeah,
she
she's-
said, "Well, someone's gonna stay awake over here, so I guess it's gonna be me this time." So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So one of
I
them
love
did make
that.
it, but all the others,
Mhm.
she doesn't. They're down in the basement, and she's not going down
No.
there. That she doesn't.
But they're happy as larks down there with the fish.
Yeah.
The dream,
my
yeah.
God.
And she really likes it a little drier, and she likes good light, a little drier and cooler. So
Yeah.
she's in a good spot.
She gets to see the ocean.
So
That's right. She gets to see the ocean.
so we're all in those kinds of spaces, all these different diverse
Yeah.
spaces this time of the year. So
Well, it's almost done.
yeah, I think we've done well. Thank you for joining us again at the Tabletop Conversation. This one is for
It's from
February.
the five of us.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Suzanne.
And Robert.
Sandra?
And Suzanne.
And Christina.
So there you have it.
I think this long spoon for February is going to be very delicious.
Yes,
Yes,
indeed.
indeed.
In
Yes.
all the ways.
Yeah.
Very nurturing and nourishing.
Go grab that cup of coffee or hot cup of tea, or as I said in here, since it is winter, perhaps some hot cocoa. And we'll see you next time.